Hi guys, my name's Will and welcome back to Will Build Everything. This is part 3 of our Mario Kart series. If you haven't seen part 1 or 2, be sure to check that out. But in today's video, we're going to be working on the steering and the axles. And hopefully by the end of this, we're going to be able to do our first test drive. Okay, so our first step is to make our wooden base and attach the axles. To attach the axles, we're using this metal pipe and we're putting screws on there, and we're going to slide our wheels on to make sure those don't fall off while we're driving the cart. And to attach those to the wood piece, we're using these C-clamps. Right now I'm just measuring them out to make sure I have them evenly spaced out and leaving space for our bolts to attach them to the actual main plank. Those bolts in the front, we're going to be using one long one so it's able to pivot left and right when we're turning it. And in the back we're going to be using 4 shorter ones. It's going to make sure that doesn't turn on us because the front ones are going to be the ones that our wheel is going to be attached to. And right now we're just putting our screws through the wood, but later when we're fully assembling the cart, we're going to put the screws through the barrel too to make sure those are nice and sturdy. Now that we have a functioning frame that has axles and wheels attached and it rolls, we're ready to work on the steering. The first step of the steering is we want to prep the barrel for attaching the base. So we're going to drill a hole through the bottom of the barrel where our steering shaft's going to go through. Later we're going to be able to attach our steering wheel to that steering shaft. Okay, so we have the steering for our Mario Kart. We have our pole here. Obviously we're going to come in and add a steering wheel, but we'll add that steering wheel once we put the base on our frame. So how we did is we took some metal cord and we put it through the bottom of our steering shaft and then wrapped it around once. Both of those ends of the cord are going through a fisheye at the bottom here where they're being separated, and one's going right and one's going left, attaching to another fisheye on each side. So that makes it so when we spin our tube, it pulls the opposite side so we can turn that direction. So as you can see, I can pull it, spin it to the left, and it pulls the left wheel towards me and the right wheel away from me, making me turn left. So this was the thing I was most nervous for the build. I've never done anything like this, never done a soapbox dairy car before or anything like this, so I wasn't really sure what was going to happen. But I'm super glad that we actually have a functional steering. I can't wait to actually put it on the Mario Kart to really get to test drive it and see how it feels to actually be in my Mario Kart. Okay, so the steering and axles are done and attached, and we're gonna go on our first official test drive. Okay, let's go on that test run. Okay, so that test drive was a complete failure. You didn't see this because we cut before it, but I ended up in the grass. So we made a few big changes. The first one is we changed our steering out. Instead of having our cord wrapped around the PVC, we have it wrapped around this piece of wood. Because of its circumference, it's larger, so that means our smaller turns has bigger differences in the actual steering instead of the little PVC, which I had to turn the steering wheel around multiple times just to get a little bit of turn. So we went ahead and switched that out. We also switched out our metal cord for this paracord. This paracord just has a lot more give and is just a lot more flexible. We also changed out our steering wheel because the steering wheel we had on connected to our PVC through a bolt. And when I was turning the steering wheel, it wasn't even turning the PVC. The bolt was just spinning around in the hole. So we went ahead and made a PVC steering wheel because the two PVC pieces are compatible together and easily stick together. We also put a bolt in there just in case. So now that we have our new steering, we're gonna drop this down and go for test drive number 2. Hopefully this time we don't end up in the grass. Let's go. Okay, so test drive number 2 was definitely a success. I was able to have a lot of control over my steering, and I wasn't even planning to turn onto my street, but it's a gravity kart, and that's where gravity took me, and that definitely showed the capabilities I have with the steering on this car. So I'm gonna wrap up this video on a win. In our next video, we're gonna do our final touches, add our grill, add some hood ornaments, even a parachute. Okay, after I add on all the accessories, we're gonna go ahead and take it to the big hill in my neighborhood, and I'll get to drive it down. I'm super excited for that. Thanks for watching We'll Build Everything. Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next video.